What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to Car Smart TV again. You can see me back here. We get to do another one of these swaps from lead acid to lithium, and let's go check out the golf cart. There she is. Nice little EZGO RXV. Still got the old factory, basically everything on it. Pretty sure the RXV model through all years have these 412s in them. Reason why we're going to lithium, get a whole lot more warranty, whole lot better efficiency. You get actually a little bit more oomph out of a golf cart too with them. So anyhow, we've got to get all this out for all the new stuff. There's our battery. There's our kit with everything else in it. That's the 51 volt professional kit. Acid's already eating through that hold down. As soon as I hit that nut, come right out. There you go, another one. That's what the acid's doing to your metal hold downs when you run lead acid batteries in your golf cart. Alright, so there's your bolt. There's the T50. Got to get that out the way. Get your strap all the way out. Just toss that out of your way. The center part will come out at that point. Clear that out. Get your batteries out. It's fighting a little bit with this being in my way. So there's two 10 mils that's up here on each side, and then you just got to take your bus bar from the positive of the solenoid over to the positive of the controller. You just got to get that out of your way real quick. Gives you room to get to that bolt. Then you can put this right back in its place. A lot of this you're going to be removing. You're going to be removing this solenoid here. It's going to be more located over towards this way after this. This right here, building up like that on your wires, on your small gauge wires, not a good thing. That will eat those wires through like nobody's business. And it's a good thing that we're doing this conversion for this guy, because when I got to taking them batteries out, I noticed that the sensing wire for the charge port is just corroded all to mess. And that's not a cheap charge port for these things either. But it was going to have one, because you can't just splice in this sensor to that wire. It don't work that way. It's a new charge port if it's ever done like that. But I mean, you can see all the acid build up already in here. I'm gonna get all this mess cleaned out of here. Look at that. All that acid. That is not sand. This cart's never seen the beach. Now keep in mind that you will be replacing your main ground wire with the bigger size, and your positive wire from the batteries that's going to upsize that to that 2 gauge cable that they send in the Pro kit, which I'm going to get underway of cleaning this out and unboxing all of our stuff here. Alright guys, so here is our Pro kit. Start out with the cables that will be replacing the old cables that are your heavy gauge cables. You'll have your 48 volt to 12 volt DC converter. That's for all your accessories to be run off of. You'll have the state of charge meter extension cord for this thing as well. Your bracket to accommodate the battery, the new battery in the tray. Your 400-600 amp HD solenoid, and also the charge port battery strap. That way you can remove the lead acid batteries. This is your Bluetooth piece that will show up on your phone, so you can see what your battery is doing at all times, its state of charge, the voltages, the amperages, all that good stuff. You have your cable attachment bolts, and then any wires that may need the bigger ring terminal to accommodate the 400, 600 amp heavy duty solenoid, because their high amp lugs are bigger than your standard solenoid. Okay guys, so you see my brackets are laid in there. There's one thing that you will have to do when you're doing the RXV model. So there are little tabs with stand-ups there on both sides. There's one here, there's one that was there, and then one here. So being that the RXV requires the mini, smaller battery is what it is, big voltage in a little box, the measurement between the feet on one side of the battery to the other is going to be landing short with the way this is laid in there, unless you cut these out. That's why we got to cut them, so that way we can evenly slide each bracket into the feet of the battery and make our mark on the bottom here, so we can drill for our slots. That way you can manipulate the bracket back and forth if you need to at any time. When you're putting this battery in, you got to think about your power switch, okay, and all the cables that are coming into this golf cart. So when you are looking to get to the point of battery installation, on the driver's side, I have found it's much easier to deal with all the wiring, like in the sense of wire management. It's so much easier to be able to run everything along with the natural lay of the wiring harness and then come into the battery, and you have all this space that you'll be able to push your button, as to where if we turn that battery that direction, it'd be a little hard to accommodate it all together there between the solenoid, the controller area, the cover that's going to go back over. It'd be hard to get that to turn on all the time. Plus, you don't want to have to walk around to the passenger side of the cart when you're already naturally walking into the driver's side. You'll just lift up this seat, push that button on, let the seat back down, hit your key switch, and take right on off. Alright guys, so I've set the Mini on my scale to show you that that is 100 pounds by itself. These are almost 90 pounds a piece. So we're taking a good amount of weight off by switching to just one battery for the cart. That's where you get your efficiency from. That's where you get your speed from. It does probably add a few more miles an hour actually. Takes off even harder. Got our little tabs cut off there. Got our bracket sitting in there nice. A little bit closer now. Getting ready to sit my battery over in here and get an idea of where the feet will land and how far I need to stretch them or close them together, and then kind of make sure it's centered up in that tray. Mark my holes and get them in. Alright, there we go guys. Got our bracket in. Like I said, you're going to lay that in there, lay your brackets in, bring your battery over, set it on the bracket. You're probably going to need an extra set of hands just to help keep the brackets staying upright to start with, but once you get the battery on there, they'll flatten back out and you'll match your distance. You'll remove your battery, make your marks, and I would suggest giving yourself just maybe like a quarter of an inch extra before you drill the holes, just so that way you have plenty of room working back and forth. Solenoid, and I do believe it's probably going to work perfectly right here with a couple of self-tapping screws to hold it down. It's not going to be in the way of the battery. It's not going to be in the way of the controller in any way. It's going to sit right nicely right there, I do believe. Just get you a couple of like 5/16 or the next size up self-tapper from the solenoid to the battery, and then from the solenoid to the activation wires, which is going to be your little red wire and your black wire. Now mind you, when you're going from here to there, you may have to extend these wires. Don't look like I'm going to have to. The only one might be is this yellow wire, but that's still not going to be that big of a deal. I know what you have to do to accommodate the yellow wire, because it's, you can see that it's on the larger lug of the solenoid. So that's where you're going to get your provided cable ends that have that larger size hole there. You're going to just cut that off, crimp it to this, crimp this to that yellow wire. Make sure you heat this right here, because it is it's got sealing agent or whatever it is on the inside. So once you heat it, it becomes like that gooey almost glue-like. It's just a sealant basically to keep any moisture out from the inside of it, but make sure you do that. Alright guys, so we got our solenoid wired in and all of our wires from the golf cart's wiring harness put where they belong. Those are going to be your red and your black from the old solenoid. And then you've got this yellow here that comes from your main wiring harness that goes to the main battery cable on the solenoid, the wire that comes from the battery, not the wire that goes to the controller. Which brings us to that point. You will have to get a wire here to go back to the B positive on the controller, making sure that you incorporate your white wire there at the B positive as well. You will have to extend this ground wire out of your main harness as well. You extend it from here because your last battery goes really close to you. Well, the battery connection for the lithium is going to be all the way over here on this side. So you're going to extend this cable all the way over and you'll just attach it to the negative on the battery pack. At this point, we're going to go ahead and get our charge port out, get our new one mounted in. Alright guys, there's the new charge port put in its place. Alright, got our charger installed. The most important thing here you need to remember is that this braided green wire here comes with 3 ends on it. Okay, these are for your charger lockout. So basically, while your golf cart is sitting in your garage, your shop, what have you, charging, these wires keep it from actually being able to run and take off while it is charging. So there is one thing you'll have to do to the wiring harness of the golf cart itself. There's a blue wire right here. It normally has this type of plug on it. You will notice that it's got almost something similar to it, but it will not plug in. It is a completely different end. What you'll have to do is on the blue wire, see the blue wire there? That was here. See what I've done here is cut that end off of it and put a female spade end on it, because your charger wire has a male, female, male, and a female. So you could do it either way because all 3 of these wires do the exact same thing. They are for the lockout mode on different model golf carts. They just didn't use the proper end for the EZGO RXV style. But like I said, you cut that off, put a female end on it, plug that into this male spade end, and you will have your lockout mode operating as it should. Okay, so now we have our voltage reducer hooked up. Well, put in place. The hookup part's what I'm getting ready to explain to you about. So if you're working on an RXV, the key switch on the RXV is also like your forward and reverse. So when you're doing a reducer on a RXV, you will not be able to use these 2 wires here, because they are your wires that are supposed to run from your normal style key switch. The RXV again does not have a normal style key switch. It's also incorporated with the forward and reverse, so you cannot hook to the key switch on this. You'll have to use the 3 wires that are made for constant power. And so that's what we're going to do here now, is we're going to hook this up properly and make sure that we are all set with the wires and lights. Alright guys, there we go. Got the dash, the mat, and all that back in. Got our meter squared away there. And so now you're left with just your state of charge meter wires here. A couple of these little positions on here, they say display, BT, PV, and CAT. So we know that the BT is for the Bluetooth receiver here, and then our display is going to be for virtually the display. So we'll get this plugged in. They do go a certain way, so be mindful when you're putting these in. Now you'll just wire manage all of this back into the tray here somewhere. Power it up and see what kind of percentage we're on, and then if we need to, let it charge up for a while. And then our last thing will be putting our cover right back into where it belongs with the Christmas tree plugs. and then we will be pretty much ready to ride, just to make sure that we got good operation, making sure our electric brake on the motor here unlocks as it's supposed to, which it very well should. Alright guys, all buttoned up, wires managed about as good as you could possibly get with what you're working with. Got our cover back on over there at the controller, all the dash buttoned up. Let's give it a on push here, and there we go. Lights up green when it's on. 50% charge, good enough to find out if it works or not. We'll come over here and hit our tow run switch to the run position. Got our key switch on. Go to forward. Let's take a seat. We have operation. Very nice setup by these guys. We really like these people that provide this battery. Very good setup, very easy to work with. Get yourself a Bolt Energy lithium battery if you're going to do a swap, guys. The swap video is completed, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, checking this out. As always, if you have any questions, please comment on the channel. We're going to put a link in the description to the battery for the RXVs, basically for all your golf carts. They make different sizes for every cart out there. Every one of them has went in with very minimal doing of any other crazy stuff, so keep that in mind when you want to get one of these in your cart. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Please don't forget to hit that thumbs up, hit that bell for any of these new videos coming out we're putting out for you guys. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button, guys. Most of you are watching without subscribing. Please hit that subscribe button. You might find yourself in another video that would help you out somewhere along the way. Thank you so much, and God bless you all.